Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started. It is 5:30 p.m. We're calling to order the public hearing on the Texas CDBG funding. Available amount is $350,000. Is anyone here wishing to speak? Anyone wishing to speak? Going once, twice, three times. 6 o'clock, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the City of Lamarque workshop meeting on Monday, September 9th, 2019, 6 p.m. Let the record reflect all members of council are present. If you'll please stand for the invocation and pledge. Father, we just come before you and ask your blessing upon this meeting tonight. God, we pray a special prayer for the people in the Bahamas. God, that you pour out your heart to them and provide what they need, even just to get by day. We thank you for our citizens. We thank you for this council. We ask you to enlighten us and help us to move through this agenda, doing the will of the people and what's good for them. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize that it's a little warm in here this evening. We didn't get it on in time, I don't think, for a 100-degree day. So it'll cool as we're going through this. Citizens participation. We have comments from the public at this time. Any person with city-related business who has signed up may speak to council on a specific agenda item, limited to 3 minutes. In compliance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, the city may not deliberate on comments. Personal attacks will not be allowed, and personnel matters should be addressed to the city manager during normal business hours. We have one speaker this evening, and that's our librarian, Miss Amy Miller, who has an announcement. It's not necessary that you give your home address since you're an employee.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I wanted to let you know of something that I learned of earlier this afternoon. I received an email from the library director at Rosenberg Library in Galveston, letting me know that the Commissioners Court is meeting tomorrow to adopt their fiscal year 20 budget. And in that budget, they've included zero support this year for Galveston County Library System. The meeting's going to be tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and I'm going to be there along with my other Galveston County Library colleagues, letting them know what this money means to us and what it would mean if it was taken away. Galveston County provides Lamarque Library with around $25,000 per year. This year, current fiscal year, we had $26,800, and with that money, we provide what's normally seen as traditional library services: access to books, periodicals, newspapers, DVDs, and it also allows us a courier system which we can have interlibrary loans and resource sharing, not with just other Galveston County libraries, but with libraries and citizens throughout Texas. So we want to be able to continue providing up-to-date relevant information for our community. And if you can't make it to the meeting tomorrow, maybe I would ask your support in contacting the commissioners and letting them know what this money means to us in Lamarque.
How much money are we talking about?
Approximately $25,000.
And these funds go to everywhere, all municipalities in Galveston County, correct?
They go to all libraries in Galveston County, and the amount that's allotted to each library is based on population. So
Okay.
ours is usually around 25,000.
And they are cutting everybody?
That's my understanding, is that there's no allocation this year at all.
The meeting will be held where? At Commissioners Court?
It's going to be at 722 Moody. Is that the county courthouse?
Yes.
Yeah, tomorrow at 11.
At 11.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. I'll ring a few cell phones this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to item 5, new business. Mr. Jackson.
Mayor, Council, good evening. In agreement with the format that you guys have established for the workshops, we'll go through each one of the items that's listed here. If anybody has any questions, comments on each item, this is the time to bring those questions or comments forward. That's questions or comments from the public or from our council. So we'll start with the first one. Item 5A is discussion related to adopting ordinance number 0-2019-0017, making appropriations for the support of the city of Lamarque for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020, appropriating money to a sinking fund to pay interest and principal due on the city's indebtedness, and adopting the annual budget for the city of Lamarque 2019-2020 fiscal year. We've probably beat the budget to death over the last month. If anybody has any additional questions, now would be the time. Item B, discussion relating to adopting ordinance 2019-0018, levying ad valorem taxes for use and operation of the municipal government of the city of Lamarque, Texas for the 2019 tax year, providing for apportioning each levy for specific purposes and providing when taxes shall become due and when same shall become delinquent if not paid. Any questions or comments? Item C, discussion relating to adopting ordinance 2019-0019, amending Appendix A, Schedule of Fees and Charges of the Code of Ordinances, City of Lamarque, Texas, by amending prescribed solid waste collection rates.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Let's see. Would this be Susie, or would it be someone under Susie with this particular issue?
It could be Susie, depends on the question.
Susie, I'm on page 15 of the agenda. Do you have the agenda? If not, okay. Page 15 talks to us about residential rates per month per residential service unit, not including sales tax. And there are several items underneath that. One item says, item G, replacement cart, $74.26 per cart. So the question is, do you know how often we've had to have our residents replace their carts?
I'm gonna have to refer that to Ms. Tina Ortiz on that. I do not know the
Yes,
answer.
ma'am. Is she?
Yeah, she's here.
Oh, yeah.
So we haven't, over the last year, I haven't implied those fees to anyone individually. If they do get a lost or stolen cart, they have to go to the PD, file a police report. If they bring me back that case number, then the fee is waived.
Excellent.
Yes, if they do not, then we have to implement that
Sure.
charge.
I just wanted to make sure that there was a way that we would cover
Yes,
theft.
sir. Yep.
What about damage? If they're
Damage?
damaged beyond use,
Then those are repaired or replaced by Waste Management. There is no fee. It's
No fee.
only if they're lost or stolen.
so the only way we would incur a $74 fee is if we were to request an additional cart to replace one that we've lost without a police report.
Correct, yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
I have a question. So my cart, put it out and then I just wanna know, the trash truck took my cart and I got a new one. So if that happens, do I have to pay again? Okay, so that was it. I mean, that's not what it is.
That's Ginger.
Just making sure.
Ginger, can't think what her last name is.
We'll get it for you.
We'll get it for you.
Mr. Jackson.
Item number D, discussion relating to adopting ordinance number 2019-0020, amending Appendix A, Schedule of Fees and Charges of the Code of Ordinances, City of Lamarque, Texas, by amending prescribed water and sewer rates effective with October 2019 billing. Again, this is an item that was discussed repeatedly during the budget process. Item E, discussion relating to adopting ordinance number 2019-0021, approving a request to rezone from R1 Single Family Residential to L1 Light Industrial, a tract of land containing 1.2449 acres, 54,226 square feet, situated in the John D. Moore League, Abstract 150, Galveston County, Texas, being out of Lot 30, Division H in Cook and Stewart subdivision, recorded in Volume 81, page 526, and the Office of the County Clerk of Galveston, Texas, being all of a tract of land conveyed to Kirk Dolman and Judy Dolman by deed recorded under County Clerk's File Number 2015001297 of the official public records of Galveston County, Texas.
I just wanted to, the only thing I didn't see in our notes was the sort of normal, I might have just missed it, but the letters that get sent out to nearby the neighbors. Is Miss Sutton here?
She is not here. She did include that in their planning and zoning, but we didn't, the list was sent.
Okay.
But it was not included in the packet.
Okay, but so it was sent.
They were definitely sent.
Cool. Just wanted to double check.
Yep.
Snail mail and certified mail.
Thank you, Sharon.
Any other questions on item E? Item F, discussion related to awarding RFQ number 19-01 and approving a contract to Attico Engineering Incorporated for engineering services for proposed contract funding for the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery CDBG DR through the Texas General Land Office for Infrastructure and Acquisition Projects. Item number G, discussion relating to adopting resolution number R 2019-0023, authorizing the city manager of the city of Lamarque, Texas as authorized signatory for contractual documents pertaining to the Texas General Land Office GLO Texas Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery CDBG DR Hurricane Harvey DR 4332. Item number H, discussion relating to approving the annual Galveston County Health District Water Pollution Control and Abatement Contract for services provided, including citywide grease trap inspections, wastewater treatment inspections, and complaint investigations in the amount of $13,067. Questions? Item number I, discussion relating to approving the contract for bid LM number 06-20 to Oriental Building Services Incorporated for janitorial services in the amount of $32,393.88. Item number J, discussion relating to awarding pre-bid LM 02-20 and approving a contract to Parish and Parish Tractor Service for lawn care maintenance of city facilities and parks in the amount of $76,475.
Yes. I guess this be Chase. Is this Chase?
That'll be Charlene.
Charlene? Okay. Charlene, I think it's on page 193, I think. I'm sorry, that's not the right page. But let me tell you what I want. What I want to ask you. This contract calls for them to mow the ball fields at Mahan. I read that in the contract.
It's an option to mow. Right now, we've had Public Works mowing the interior of the fields, and the contractor's been mowing the exterior portion of the fields.
Yet Saturday, when I went out to see all of the work that Tink and the crew did to the football field, tremendous amount of work. The fields were horrific.
The football field?
No,
Or
the other fields.
The baseball field?
The baseball
Yes.
fields. And
We
I know
have-
that we had a contract with other folks and.
Right, and that just got resolved a couple of months ago as far as the contracts being dissolved. And we have a meeting with Mr. Parrish on Thursday to address the baseball fields.
Okay, so is it our intention that we're going to get him to mow those fields?
The exterior, everything from the fence line into the, like the driveway area, the interior of the field itself is gonna be still mowed by Public Works, for now.
Okay, and the reason for that is what?
It was
Just curious.
initially not included in the past bids, but we have the option of having them built in.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's the city manager's purview.
Yeah, leaving them out mostly is about cutting costs
Okay.
as much as possible.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Anything else on item J? Item K, discussion related to adopting resolution R 2019-0024, nominating Bruce Clausen to appear on the ballot of the Board of Directors of the Galveston Central Appraisal District for a 2-year term beginning January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2021. And item number L, discussion relating to adopting resolution R 2019-0026, awarding RFQ 19-02 for engineering services to LNV Engineering and authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with LNV Engineering on pre- and post-award engineering services for the Texas Department of Agriculture Downtown Revitalization Grant Program. Any questions? That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, council. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment of the workshop.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you call the time, please? 6:15. We will move into our regular city council meeting. It's my great honor this evening to have some presentations. And we'll do those at this time. I don't believe that the POWMIA folks are here. Am I correct in that? So we'll move on to a proclamation for Constitution Week. And I know we have some representatives here because I see them every year, I think. You'll meet me in the front, please. I need some help with this. Where are these?
We'll get you.
First of all, would you like to introduce yourselves?
I am Donna Hatch, and I'm with the George Washington chapter. I'm the regent of the chapter. I'm Nancy Schroll, and I'm working.
I'm Cheryl Tucker, I'm the Constitution Week chairman.
And I'm Terry Fulmer.
Good to have you guys here. Let's give them a hand. Office of the Mayor of the City of Lamarque proclamation. Whereas Constitution Week is a commemoration of America's most important document and is celebrated annually during the week of September 17th through 23rd. And whereas the United States Constitution stands as a testament to the tenacity of Americans throughout history to maintain their liberties, freedoms, and inalienable rights. And whereas this celebration of the Constitution was started by the Daughters of the American Revolution. In 1955, DAR petitioned Congress to set aside September 17th through 23rd annually to be dedicated for the observance of Constitution Week. And whereas September 17th, 2019 marks the 232nd anniversary of the drafting of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas the independence guaranteed to American citizens, whether by birth or naturalization, should be celebrated by appropriate ceremonies and activities during Constitution Week, September 17 through 23, as designated by proclamation of the President of the United States of America in accordance with Public Law 915. And now therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council, by virtue of our authority vested by the City of Lamarque, do hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2019 as Constitution Week in the City of Lamarque, and to urge all citizens, businesses, and all professional bodies to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by diligently protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. In testimony whereof, witness my hand and the seal of the City of Lamarque, this 9th day of September, 2019, Bobby Hawkins, Mayor. Thank you.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm a high school graduate.
Well, two Lamarque High School graduates. How about that? Awesome. Thank you for being here. Next, we have a plaque. Come on down, Councilman Lane. Councilman Lane has been working with our youth in the city, doing what's called Teen Biz Camp 2019. I watched him every day as he came over here faithfully to teach our youth how to start and run a business and save and bank, and it's like a master's degree. What do you call it? MBA in a box. Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. And tonight we're going to honor one of the people in one of the organizations that really helped him in this endeavor, and that's the Campbell Foundation. Tanya Griffin, come on up. On behalf of the mayor and council of the city of Lamarque, Texas, Councilmember Chris Lane wishes to thank you for your generous investment in our community. Campbell Foundation, Tanya Griffin, Team Biz Camp 2019. Thank you for all of you. Thank you, and thank you, Councilman Lane. We had one for Chick-fil-A. Is there a Chick-fil-A rep here? I don't think there is, but suffice it to say, they provided lunch every single day of this event. How's that sound? Just Item E, Employee Recognition, Excellent Customer Service Award. I'd like to call forth Sergeant Richard Garcia. How are you, sir? Did you know about this?
I was told to be here.
Always best to obey. Shortly after our new city manager began, he implemented an expanded customer service policy for all employees who serve the citizens of our great city. This policy requires excellence in customer service and places the burden of providing a positive interaction with citizens on our employees. We have an employee with us tonight that has been recognized by fellow employees and for providing excellent customer service to our citizens. I would like to read you an excerpt from a letter I received after talking to this gentleman on the phone. I asked him to email me the facts, and he did. Today, around 5:45 p.m., I was visiting Pit Stop Barbecue, and one of the Lamarque Police Department officers was behind me in line. I witnessed Sergeant Richard Garcia pay for dinner for a lady in line behind him who did not have the proper funds. In these very turbulent times we find ourselves in these days, it was nice to see an officer being nice when no one was looking. This is an excellent example of community policing. Officers getting to know the community through everyday interactions help to build positive relationships in the community. Sergeant Richard Garcia's hard work, positive attitude, and dedication to the city of Lamarque makes him an invaluable member of our city team. And this letter and phone call was from Mr. Sam Collins, and his who is a dear friend. It's with great pleasure that I present you this award, sir, and thank you. When no one is looking is the proper time to do the right thing.
I don't have a good side, I'm sorry.
I know how you feel, bro. You heard my preamble earlier about this new award that's going forth, set up by Mr. Jackson. And I want to read you an excerpt from a letter received from a Lamarque citizen about this next recipient, who is Chase Carey. All right, sir. Good. Wow. The letter says, I'm a longtime proud resident of Lamarque. I've lived in multiple homes throughout the years, raised my children here and my grandchildren now. I've been in contact with the Public Works Department over the past couple of years because of plumbing issues I've had in my home. The interim director, Mr. Carey, has personally come to my home and helped me purchase and change out my toilet, which was leaking, causing my high water bills. I've never seen such a dedicated employee, and I want you to know what a special employee you have. He is exactly what the city needs, a young man who cares about the citizens. Chase Carey's hard work, positive attitude, and dedication to the city of Lamarque makes him an invaluable member of our city team. And it is once again with great pleasure that I present this Customer Service Excellent Award to Mr. Chase Carey. Congratulations. Now, I believe the city manager, Mr. Jackson, has something to say as well.
So those of you that came to the town hall we had And those of you that have been around when I've been talking about different programs and different things we're doing and how we're trying to get there. One of the things we talked about is how we need to really focus on making sure that we get the best people to do the best job for the citizens of our city. When I first came here, we had 2 openings for permanent directors in departments. One of them was the fire department, and we went through a search and did a bunch of work to come up with the best fire chief that we could come up with, and we hired him. I decided I wanted to sit around and watch this guy work a little bit and see what he could do in that department, because when I got here, I heard a lot of good things about Chase. I didn't believe him, but I heard a lot of good things. But there was another part of that letter that the mayor just read to you that we didn't include in the letter today. And that was a statement from this lady telling us how she thought that we should make him the full-time director and make him, get rid of the interim title, make him the full-time director. I don't want to do stuff like this, but Chase, do you want to be the full-time director? Yes, sir.
Congratulations. And you have your, is that, I asked this in my church once and it wasn't the guy's wife, but is this your wife?
Yes, sir, it is.
Awesome. Would you like to introduce her?
Sir?
Would you like to introduce her?
Yes, sir. This is my wife, Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
Thanks, everyone. Item 4, minutes. A, City Council Public Hearings, CDBG minutes of August 19th. Marque Employee Benefits Trust Meeting, August 19th. City Council Special Meeting, August 19th. City Council Special Meeting, August 26th. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Item 5 is our consent agenda. Anyone, any council person wanting to pull anything from the consent agenda?
Item 6C for discussion.
No, that's under new business. That wouldn't be part of consent.
Yeah. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item 6, under new business. A, discussion, possible action regarding authorizing the purchase of one Spartan 4-door mid-mounted fire pumper through HGAC by in the amount of $597,242. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion a second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Chief, in our information tonight, it says that this company that we're looking to purchase from has a program that they loan us apparatus.
Yes, sir.
Is that still available?
Yes, sir. They said it would take about 30 days because they'll stripe it, and we're in the process of changing our logo. So they'll put our new logo on it and stripe it for the city of Lamarque. And our understanding is it'll cover all maintenance costs and all preventive maintenance along the way, with the exception of any damage. Our responsibility will be to put insurance on it, and then we're responsible for any damage when the truck goes back to them when we return it.
So we're getting this loaner apparatus free of charge as soon as we place the order for our apparatus.
Yes, sir, within 30 days.
Within 30 days?
Yes, sir. They said it's a 30, they said right now it's in Georgia, and we had the salesperson here, but at our meeting last week, they said it would take 30 days to get the apparatus here and get it striped for us, and then for us to take delivery of it. And then we would return it after we have received our first truck, and with the potential of buying a second truck, that we were told that we would be able to keep the loaner until the second truck comes in.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And that's how, when we kind of looked at it, we were comparing the different ones, and the other two, we looked at 3 different manufacturers, one of them that has a shop here in Lamarque, and they brought us demos that didn't meet our needs. And each of those demos, one of them was already 2 years old, the one that was similar to what we were looking for, and we would have a 1-year warranty from the day that we took delivery. Looking over these, when we put them all together and pulling out the HGAC pricing, what was kind of nice on these was having the loaner truck for 9 months to a year till we get ours in,
Right.
and then the 2-year warranty with with this brand when it comes in compared to the 1 year on each of the others.
Right.
Essentially, we have a 3-year warranty, which is gonna reduce our maintenance cost, excuse me, on our frontline engine.
Right. I assume we're gonna be able to put insurance on this vehicle, so that's gonna be permitted.
Yes, sir, it was quite
Yeah.
a deal, and, extending it and we needed something immediately. And looking at the demos, which is what we had said we would do, and theirs was when they didn't have a demo to meet our need, they came back to us and said, what if we gave you a truck to use immediately until your trucks were ready?
Good work, Chief. And would the members of our great fire department stand this evening? Congratulations, you're finally getting some great equipment to do your job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, we can't let Captain Yardley walk off without saying something, because I made him get ready for this meeting for 2 weeks.
Thank you. I'll say that.
He's
Thank
just
you
full of
so much.
surprises.
Yeah, all the work in that, most of it that was done was through Captain Yardley.
Thank you,
He
Captain.
scheduled all the trucks, came in, set up the specifications we were looking at, and then kind of worked them till we was able to get the loaner truck with the 2-year warranty on the 2 news.
I use my mean face.
Great job. Keep using it.
Good deal.
All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Item B, discussion possible action regarding establishing
I think we have to vote.
Yeah, if you want your truck, we do need to vote. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council, and thank you for reminding me. Item B, discussion possible action regarding establishing a mechanism for consideration of public expenditures for the Lamarque Youth Program Fund. Mr. Jackson.
Mayor, council, so we got the ordinance passed at the last meeting, so we got the ordinance in place now. Now, as we discussed, we've been working on this since the retreat on how to actually get to this point. Now, you guys need to establish what the mechanism will be to bring forward projects or programs or whatever, however you want to look at it. What we had discussed before, I think you guys have a council member that kind of drives this, and what you guys had discussed was appointing him to bring the projects forward, or the proposals forward. So, but it's your pleasure, whatever you want to do to establish the mechanism.
And do you wish us to make that appointment this evening?
That would be, I think we need to get it moving if we could.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
I move to name Councilmember District B, Chris Lane, to be the council's coordinator of youth projects. Does that sound legit?
Yeah, so then what he would do is he would put the list together, bring it back, and under the ordinance, council will then review that list and make a determination.
I second that.
Second, any further discussion? Here, I think it's a great choice. I'll ask for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item C, discussion, possible action regarding adopting resolution number R-2019-0025, approving the issuance of 2019 Series Unlimited Tax Bonds by Galveston County Municipal Utility District number 68. Mr. Jackson.
Mayor, council, this is a request that was brought to us by the MUD District. We have a representative from the MUD here, so I think we can start off by letting him discuss it with you. It's in your packet, and then you guys can ask him questions from there.
Good evening. My name is Tim Austin. I'm the attorney for Galveston County MUD number 68. And I'm here to answer any questions. If you like, I could give you a quick overview of the district, or we could go straight to the item.
I think we'll go straight to the item. Does anyone on council have any questions or comments? Mr. Mister.
Mr. Austin, back in 2016, y'all asked for this once before. You provided actually more information than you did this time. Everything is consolidated on one sheet. It's hard to determine which bonds there were. So I would ask that I'd want to see an amortization sheet on each individual bond that is being requested, and each bond that is under control of MUD 68 now that is not being asked to be refunded at this time. I'd like to see an entire picture, and I'd like to see that inception date of when they started, when their call dates were, and when their maturity dates are. Our intent is that this MUD will dissolve at some point in the future. But the other aspect too that I would request, which would require ABHR to change the bylaws of your MUD, is that you would hold only public auction and sale of those bonds or any future bonds. And that is something we cannot put in ordinance because your bylaws of that would supersede. And I would require that because that is the cheapest way. It can be argued that it costs more to do that. It can be argued that if you didn't have a good credit rating, you would then pay higher bond costs, but that is not the case when it's a MUD and it's also backed by a city. You get the lowest rates for the residents. I also, because of this, I have some residents that are under MUD 68 now, and I'd like to ask them a question.
Before you get there, do you mind if I correct some facts?
Okay. Yes, sir.
You have a great memory. I was trying to remember exactly what we were talking about in 2016, so that was a long time ago. So I commend you on that, but unfortunately, this is a different request, and that's why the information was different. That was a request which is consistent with your consent conditions. When MUD 68 was created, it required the consent of the city council to be created, and then was created by the TCEQ. And one of those consent conditions, the conditions the city put on the creation, was that before the MUD sold any refunding bonds, we had to get an approving ordinance or resolution from the city, and that was what we asked for in 2016. And you were very clear about what your requirements were for that. This is not a refunding bond issue. This is a new money issue. This is to finance the ongoing infrastructure. And so the reason we didn't give you any information on the prior bond issues was because we're not refunding the prior bond issues. This would be new debt. So the reason that we are here, that I am here, is because in the city's, another of the city's consent conditions was not that you get approval of new money bond issues. It contained automatic approval of those as long as we met the parameters for the issuance of those bonds. One of the parameters was that we have substantially leveled debt service on those on the district's debt service schedule, so that reasonably the city was worried that we would be lumping a bunch more debt on the backside of these bonds so that it would make it more difficult to pay them off as later years came on. So you wanted to see the debt service payments of the district be level, and level is defined as within $15,000 high and low. Be level so that you wouldn't have roller coaster tax rates to pay a lot of bonds now, maybe less later to sell houses. So when you sell, if you've ever sold, I'm sure you have sold your own debt, it's very difficult to predict within that level of certainty that you're going to have level debt service. So the consent conditions built in a process to where if we would provide you with what our financial advisor expects, and this is the sheet you were looking at, what the financial advisor expects the debt service to look like, we could get your approval in advance and then not run the risk of having to throw away bids because they don't meet that $15,000 window, by a few $1,000s one way or the other. So the schedule that you got has three columns that describe the proposed debt service on the bonds. It has total debt service, which is the third, if you're looking at that chart, it's the third column from the right that shows that we anticipate having level debt service, and that includes all of the principal and interest on the outstanding bonds, not broken out as you were talking about, but it is in a lump sum. And I'd be happy to give you all the information that we have on the current bonds, but this is not a refunding of the old bonds. So what we're asking today is that if you would simply acknowledge and agree that it's a reasonable prediction of level debt service and you are not approving the issuance of the bonds. The city is not incurring any obligation with respect to the bonds. This is a standalone bond issue paid only by the district. I would love to have another opportunity to talk about that refunding because it's still available and we could save 5 to 6% savings on our debt service if we could do that. But I understand you have requirements for that and we'll be happy. In fact, the financial advisor said, gosh, if they like these bonds, let's ask them about the refunding again. Let's keep that for a separate discussion, but I'll be glad to give you that information.
So if I hear you right, that's more than one bond on this schedule right here that you have?
This schedule shows the total debt service of all the bonds together, including what's predicted for these new bonds. So the top left-hand corner of the chart shows that the district has about $70 million in taxable value. That's also city taxable value that was created by this district. It shows the outstanding debt in these other columns, and then the proposed debt in the new ones, and then there's a total number that says total debt service. That includes all the bonds, and all the bonds including the new bonds.
Well, I'm gonna move that, that we're gonna table this thing, but, and the reason why I think it takes a separate meeting other than this. And in that meeting, I would like to invite a representative from the residents of that live under that mud. Ms. Manette is back here today. She is the HOA president for Saltgrass and lives and pays those mud taxes and could probably give you an earful, but let's sit down in a meeting and do this. But I want to see them all separate on amortization sheets. I need something a little bit more simpler to understand.
Well, of course, you can ask for anything you like and we will be very responsive, give you anything you like. We have open meetings just like you do and we invite the public to attend. And I don't know this lady, but I'd be happy to talk to you after the meeting or after the council meeting, or have you come to our board meeting and meet the board. And we have elections every 2 years just like you do. And
Mr. Austin, it seems just contrary to me that the only time we get or ask for approval of this refunding, but yet you say this is new bonds, and that's never been the case. So
I don't understand the question. We've sold a lot of new bonds, new money bonds. What we haven't had is this level debt service requirement, which was put on us by the city when we did an annexation just before we talked to you about that refunding. So this is a new provision. We think we can meet it. We put in a prediction here that shows that we can meet it. And if we take bids and we're within the $15,000 level debt service, we can sell the bonds and we don't need anything from city council. What we're trying to do is get you all involved in this district, let you recognize, hope that you would recognize that we're doing our best to keep the debt service meeting your parameters. We don't want to have to throw out a good bid in the next few weeks because it misses the parameters by $1,000 one way or the other and go through that process and possibly miss a good bond market, which if you're selling debt, it's a good bond market. If the rates go up, we'll miss that window and it'll cost the taxpayers of the district if we have to have a higher interest rate because we sell the bonds later. So you have every right to not approve this resolution. We think that because the board is asking you respectfully to do so, and it's to the advantage of the district, its taxpayers, and the $70 million in new taxable value that would not be there if it weren't for this district, that it merits the favorable consideration of council. If you don't choose to approve it, I'll certainly understand it's your prerogative, but that we will continue to have open meetings and ask people of the board of the district to come and make their wishes known, and we're going to be levying our tax in the next month or so, just like you guys do your same process, and we'll have an open meeting. We have notices. We're happy to have people come to the meetings and talk about it. We've never excluded anyone from a meeting.
How big a window? I thought I heard you say something to the effect that this is time sensitive. And if you don't receive our approval, when you go back for bonds, the market may be different. Did I hear you say that?
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that, and could you give me a
Sure.
time frame?
Sure. Well, what we're proposing to do is to open bids, and this is a competitive bid. This is not a negotiated bid. We don't have the legal ability to negotiate a new money bond issue. So these are competitive bids. They've already been advertised. We knew we had this council meeting come up. We could always pull it if we wanted to, but we're proposing to sell these bonds on September the 17th. And when we open those bids, if you all have not given us this resolution we asked for, we'll have to apply those bids to the existing debt service of the district. And if we miss by 1 penny that level debt service requirement, we'll have to reject those bids. If we reject the bids and try to go through the process again, that's the timing I'm talking about. If for some reason something happens, interest rates go up, then we won't get the advantage of the low interest rate environment that's going on right now. A month, 2 months from now, whenever we got back to doing it, interest rates could very well go down, and we say, oh, gosh, I'm glad we waited. But we don't have the benefit of that.
Would you be forced to reject those bids?
If we don't have this resolution, if we don't have your agreement that we have met our good faith requirement to meet level debt service, and we're on our own, we don't have you all's backup on, yeah, you met level debt service, then we can't issue the bonds without violating your consent conditions if we don't have our debt service within a $15,000 window between years. I know that's a gobbledygook, but that's what.
Mr. Austin,
Yes.
you said that the city of Lamarque put this debt service limit on you?
Yes.
When did that happen?
I could find out.
Nothing like this has ever been discussed since I've been here.
Well, I could give you the year. I'd have to look it up, but it was when we added some land to the district a number of years ago. It was before 2016, and when the city consent to create the district, and anytime you add land to the district, it also requires consent. The city can put reasonable conditions on it, and this condition didn't exist at the outset of the district. It was imposed when the district was adding land, and I'd have to look up and get you the year.
My stance is I'm gonna have to see more information from y'all. I'm not gonna come all the way over to Southwest Freeway to make your meetings. I wanna see y'all bring it here.
We've always been happy to meet with you
Yes,
here.
sir. And I appreciate that. I need to see, what property you were talking about that's been added and what your projections are for the district. I mean, we owe it to our constituents that pay these taxes, and I'm just not comfortable right now approving it. So,
Well, I will send you everything that you've asked for, and I'm not sure if this is exactly what you're getting at, but when we sell bonds, because of the laws that we operate under, we don't have any bylaws. We're not a corporation, but we have statutes, the Water Code and TCEQ regs. Our bonds have to be approved by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality for feasibility and for validity of the projects. And we have to show that we can service the debt without any increase in new taxable value. So even though there are houses being built out there now, and it's a pretty successful subdivision, we're not projecting any new value so that the tax rates aren't going to skyrocket because we didn't get some houses we thought. This is good on its own right now with no change.
Mr. Austin, if I can interrupt you briefly.
Yes,
I want to introduce Ms. Dira Purnell, who's acting as our city attorney this evening. She has a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So just a couple of clarifying questions that might help council. Do you happen to know the rough estimate of the total outstanding debt for the district?
Oh, I can tell you exactly. It's on this chart. The total, well, it may not be broken out exactly. We're talking about issuing $3,845,000 in new debt, and the outstanding debt service, actually, I lied. I don't have that here, but I can look it up real quick. This is the draft of the preliminary official statement that we're trying to finalize right now.
I think think what we're asking for is just a rough estimate, is basically if you're looking at issuing, say a little under 4 million in debt, what portion of your total debt is that? And then my next question is gonna be, it looks like the projected payoff on these is 2043. And
Correct,
what's the current payoff date for your existing debt?
2039.
Okay, so then we're looking at the potential for extending the district an extra 4 years.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson, thank you.
Okay, so I think further to go to that clarifying thing, do you have a list of what that $3.4 million is gonna be spent on?
Sure.
That you could provide to the council so they could see that it's not just, that it's being spent on infrastructure and items and not being spent on supporting an administrative mechanism for 4 more years to keep that district alive? Because I think that's what Councilman Mitchell is getting to down there is, I think everybody believes that there's supposed to be an end to these mud districts at some point, and it seems like they become their own monster and they just keep building themselves to go with that.
Right.
Second, what did you say the bid date opening was?
Well, right now it's scheduled for September 17th. If we
I'd
need
like to make a suggestion. We have a motion on the floor to table. We meet again on the 16th and the 17th of next week. Would it be possible for you to meet with our council members so he can get the appropriate information to give back to us, satisfy his concerns, and then we'll put it on our agenda for the 16th of next week?
If I can't get approval today, I'll be happy to do that.
I don't know how everyone is feeling or going to vote. I think just as a courtesy to us, you might consider coming back on the 16th.
So I will be happy to do that.
Yes, sir.
We tend not to take action, sir, when one of us as a council has questions. And so as long as Councilman Mishich is uncertain, we try to honor that, so.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
And the reality is, the tabling this to the 16th does not stop the process. They can continue with their process. It doesn't change anything. They're not gonna pull the bid, because the reality is, even on the 16th, if you didn't approve it, they still may get bids that fit within their structure that may not require city council approval.
That's accurate, yes.
Yeah, so,
And if I could just take a minute to answer the specific question, since I just found it. What these proceeds are going for, in addition to everything has cost of issuance and all that, it's going for Saltgrass Crossing Section 2, water, wastewater, and drainage improvements. It's just the underground improvements that get conveyed to the city to become incorporated in its system, as well as impact fees that are charged by the drainage district. And if I were gonna waste your time by flipping through pages, I know that somewhere in here it says how much the outstanding debt is, but I can just get you that. It's
If you could arrange a meeting with Councilman Mistich and Mr. Jackson and whoever else Mr. Jackson wants to invite to that between now and next Monday evening,
okay.
we'll have that on the agenda for you.
Okay, I'll be glad to do that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We have a motion on the table for a table. Is there a second? Motion and a second. No discussion on the table. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That concludes our business for this evening. We're going into executive session at this time. We're going under executive session item K, under personnel matters, section 551.072, 551.073, deliberations about real property, gifts and donations, discussion of the possibility of a land donation, and the second item is 551.074, personnel matters, city manager's roles and responsibilities. I'll ask you to call the time, Madam Clerk.
6:54.
6:54, we'll retire into executive session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, 8:02, we've come out of the executive session and are reopening the meeting. We have item 8.1, discussion, possible action regarding the acceptance of a land donation. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Item 2, discussion, possible action regarding the city manager's roles and responsibilities. I'll entertain a motion.
Yes, I would like to move that we direct the city manager to establish a task force designed to take a multifaceted approach to improving the safety of our community.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you.